In this course, I'd like to talk about how to configure and send email by using email templates and work with electronic reporting in order to be able to leverage certain parameters by using the data model to send information collected from the data to the customer of Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations app. Regardless of sending an email with or without email templates, you must make sure that you have already configured the email parameters within Finance and Operations app. The Print Destination Settings dialog box will appear. From this list, I choose Email. I specify a recipient in the to field, accept the default for the rest of the fields, and click OK. I click OK in order to confirm the sales order and print the confirmation to be sent via email to the alias I have provided in the to field. The info bar indicates that the email has been sent successfully. Let's verify that. I switch back to my Outlook. As you see, a new email has been sent to me from Finance and Operations app. Let's go ahead and preview this attached file. As expected, the sales order confirmation report has been sent via email. Then I would click on the Browse button and navigate to the directory that I've already saved, the email template file. I select the file that includes the HTML tags that constructs my email template body. I highlight it and click Open. As you notice, the name of the file will be appeared on the field next to the Browse button. By clicking on the Upload button, the file will be uploaded as the content of the email message template. My email message template consists of an image with text concatenated with a bunch of parameters. As I've already explained, the parameters are being shown with the percentage sign. The %1 indicates the legal entity name, 2 indicates the currency, 3, the invoice total amount, and 4 refers to the customer reference. You need to consider that data model as well as the model mapping must have the same exact version number. In my demonstration, I'm using the invoice model version 249 as well as the invoice model mapping version 249. For business document management, I'm using sales invoice with Excel format, which also has a version of 249. All of these documents are as type XML. Now I must change the invoice model mapping to contain organization email template table in a data source and then bind email subject and body from the data model with it. I need to create a drive configuration. In order to do so, from the menu, I click Create Configuration button. Here, you can create a root or select the option in order to drive from the highlighted configuration model, which happens to be the invoice mapping model. I need to create a brand new configuration which is being inherited from this specific active model. After I created the derived configuration model for sales invoice model mapping within the configuration provider, I highlight the invoice model mapping GTL, which is a derived version of the invoice model mapping, and click the designer button. As you notice, the list shows existing data model mapping which are available within this active provider. Since I've already highlighted the invoice model mapping GTL, the model to data source mapping shows that name. I'm interested in my sales invoice model mapping GTL. Therefore, I highlight the sales invoice and click the designer button. The model mapping designer for sales invoice will appear. Specify the label to be the same as the name and click OK. By doing so, you notice that the node of GTL tables has now a subnode. By expanding it, the sysemail table node has been added, which is indeed a root node of other subnodes. You notice that all available fields and collections, relations to other tables are being shown. This shows the structure of the tables. By scrolling down, I can find the node that I'm interested in. Since I like to map my email templates to the data model, I highlight the email node and expand it. Right within here, I can find the email ID, which is indeed specifies the name of the email template. In my previous demonstration, I've already mapped the GTL tables container with the table records from the sysemail table, which includes all available email templates from finance and operations. In order to be able to use the email body subject and associate some fields from the data sources and link them to the parameters of the email templates structure, I need to configure my empty container that I've designated for electronic reporting and create some calculated fields, such as those for detecting the language code, the name of the email templates, identify the subject, the body, and other fields that can be used in order to be bind to the specific node of the data model. I continue by adding the third function right after the if. I highlight the count and click add function. Therefore, the result will be, I will look into the data source, look for the first record of my data source, or return a null value if the count function, which will be representing my container, GTL print management, as well as the GTL ER, which indeed can be shortcutted by using the @ sign with a specific field, which could be typed or could be found from the data source area. I leverage the graphical user interface on my left side. I expand the GTL print management, then expand the GTL electronic reporting or GTL ER, and select the email template, which happens to be the calculated field under that node. By using this formula, you're indicating whether or not you have at least one record that matches the name of invoice with a language code that match the email header as English US with the name of invoice as the email template. So let's go ahead and get it started by binding the necessary elements from the data source to our data model. From the data model area, I highlight the print management settings, expand it, and as you notice, the real estate expands automatically since some of the nodes have already been automatically binded. based on the predefined settings on the system. I am interested in a node called email template. Therefore, I highlight it and expand it. Note that there are two sub-elements in there, email body and email subject. Since from the data source area, I've already highlighted the subject node, here under the data model section, I highlight the email subject as well. In order to bind the email subject of my data model to my data source field, which represents the subject of my email template, I click on the bind button. As you see, the result shows the value of the email subject of my data model will be equivalent of my GTL print management container with the subnode of the email message and the field of subject. Therefore, from the configuration provider, I highlight Sales Invoice Excel. From the menu, I click Create Configuration drop-down button. Since this configuration needs to be derived from the original model, I select the option Drive from Invoice Sales Excel format. As you notice, immediately a new field at the bottom of this drop-down will appear, which allows me to choose the data model version. In case I have more than one, I can decide which version of the data model I like to work with. I specify a name and a description. As you noticed, the default data model is already been selected, which is invoice. In case this specific Sales Invoice Excel is located in a different data model within the same configuration, the data model dropdown will show the root node of that data model. Currently, I have only one. I accept the default, which is invoice. Since I've imported this specific GR configuration model as type sales invoice for Excel report, you notice that out of the box, Microsoft offers me a specific version for free text invoice and sales invoice for the country of Bahrain. Since I don't want to choose this version and I work based on the United States, I don't select any value here. It is not a bad time to discuss that you don't have to just work with the Excel format. Electronic reporting also supports Word format. By using the electronic reporting, you can provide mapping, transformation, formatting of different documents that relates to different countries with different regulatory requirements, which indeed are legal documents that supports regulatory features between different countries. You can also use it as another means to satisfy the need for an EDI solution. By clicking on the test button, you have the capability to pass values as the parameters to test if this format function works properly. At the bottom of this specific pane, you have errors and the test result tabs that you can investigate the outcome of your test. At this time, I cancel the dialog box. I close the formula designer. Then I click OK in order to finish the formula for the body section of the text configured node. From the hierarchy, by expanding the text configured, you notice that I have a body node under the calculated field. In order to create an additional calculated field, I select the text configured and click add. From the drop down, I highlight calculated field, and at the bottom of this dialog box, I click add. I switch to my Outlook, and as you notice, within here, I've received an email indicating the name of the company Contoso Entertainment System USA, which is USMF, shows the sales invoice and the customer reference. Along with it, you have an attached sales invoice as type Excel. This is due to sales invoice as an Excel format. However, the message shows Dear percentage customer name percentage alongside with the concatenated text. Please find attached invoice from the name of the company, the accounting currency, which is as type USD, for the amount of $128,089.68 for the order. There is a specific appreciation message and gratitude from the sales team at Guide to Learn. Obviously, this is not a body that satisfies my need. So I'm going to teach you a bit of a troubleshooting here on how to fix the email. I'll close the Outlook and switch back to my Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations app. I'll navigate back to Modules, Organization Administration, expand Workspaces, and choose Electronic Reporting. From the Electronic Reporting workspace, I select Reporting Configuration Style in order to access the active configuration provider. I expand the invoice model and expand the sales invoice Excel. I highlight the sales invoice Excel GTL that I've already configured and derived from the sales invoice Excel GR model. I click on the View, select View Formula button at the bottom of this dialog box. I expand Emailing, select the body which has the calculated field with the print management email template body, and select the subject which shows the print management subject. I do the same for the text default container. As you notice, I have a body that includes percentage, customer name, percentage. That was indeed the parameter that was not replaced with the name of the customer, which needs to be resolved. Since I know where the problem is, I close the form, cancel the dialog box, close the format designer, and in order to fix this, I highlight the original draft version of the sales invoice Excel GTL. Then I click on the designers button. I select the mapping tab. Then by expanding the empty containers and emailing node, as well as the empty container, I expand the problematic container with a body. Then I click on the edit. The calculated field data source properties for the body will appear. I click Edit Formula. As you notice, right within here, I can change the formula for the emailing container by highlighting percentage, customer name, percentage. I like to make it a bit more generic. I will replace it with the word customer. I switch back to Outlook and I verify the result. As you notice, I've received a brand new email with the subject of Contoso Entertainment System USA, which is indeed the USMF, with a text from the subject called Sales Invoice with the customer reference. Remember, on the subject, the Contoso Entertainment System USA is %1. Dash Sales Invoice is a constant text. CIV-000679 will represent the customer reference, which happens to be %2. I do have the sales invoice as an Excel format, as an attachment, and I have a body which has been corrected. I show Dear Customer, please find attached invoice from %1, which happens to be Contoso Entertainment System USA or USMF, for the currency code, which is %2, happens to be USD, United States dollar, with an amount of $334,847.76 for your order. And we appreciate your business. Let's go ahead and take a look at the sales invoice. By selecting the sales invoice and opening it, you notice the business document shows the proper format of my sales invoice in an Excel to be viewed by my customer.